They knew everything that they had to say to get a vulnerable person, a young person, on their side. It's sick what they did. Now I know what they did, I can see it, but at the time you have no idea what is happening to you.
When even the BBC in Britain, which is really very liberal and doesn't want to offend certain groups in English society, when they show reports on radio and TV about this particular subject, which is grooming young women to become prostitutes, rape gangs, and the people in these gangs are overwhelmingly, if not exclusively, Muslim. I don't say that with any relish, it happens to be a fact. When independent television does this in Britain, when there are dramas on TV, detective dramas, that show these situations, then you know this is a major issue on the cutting edge. It's been reported throughout the media now. It's been going on for some time. There was an attempt to obfuscate, to lie about what was going on, but I believe now the truth is becoming public. Gavin Bobby is a lawyer and an activist, the Law and Freedom Foundation. He joins us from London. Welcome to you, sir.
Thank you, Michael. Nice to see you.
Thank you. Now, this is a report that you've issued of almost 500 pages, and it details the history of this. Tell us what we're talking about and how extensive and damaging it actually is.
Well, what's being talked about is what is euphemistically referred to as localised grooming, and that refers primarily to groups to groups mainly of Muslim men who will seek out, find, and then sexually exploit, rape, and pimp out young girls, very young girls, between the ages of about 11 and 12 and 15, and use them for sex and for money. Now, the term localised grooming refers to pre-existing groups of friends, relatives, and colleagues within the same town. And this is where the Islamic element comes in, because within non-Muslim society, it is something that you can't express. It's something that's condemned. Within Islamic society, under Islamic doctrine, that condemnation is not there. So groups of existing friends can broach the topic with each other and then get together within their own locality and do it, hence the term localised. So it's groups of child rapists.
Mm. But there are surely, well, I know there are many in Muslim society in Britain who've spoken out about this. Now, some have been intimidated, but many others are condemning it, and they find the whole idea obnoxious and disgraceful.
Well, there are some who have done that. Actually, the number is surprisingly small, and when you look at the preponderance of Muslims amongst the perpetrators, it is extremely high. Within this particular crime, not across the board of child abuse, but within this particular crime of on-street child rape and grooming, the only reliable statistics we have are not the statistics that government has provided. It hasn't provided any reliable statistics. It has obfuscated what statistics it has. But the only reliable statistics come through the courts, and that's the history of convictions. And what they show is that about 90%, in fact 91% of the men convicted are Muslim. Now, if you then consider that Muslims officially account for roughly 4% of the British population, if you do the statistics on that, that seems to suggest that a Muslim man is about 200 times more likely than a non-Muslim man to commit this crime. Mm. The ratio is as steep as that. It is very serious. And it is very difficult to get Muslim organisations to condemn this formally, officially. You had the the House of Commons Home Affairs Select Committee did a report on this, and they seem to know there's an Islamic element to it, because the only religious person they had appear before them was a sheikh, an Islamic cleric, and at the end of it he tried to circulate a sermon to get all the mosques in Britain to read out that sermon in their mosques, condemning child grooming, child pimping, and 75% of those mosques refused to do so. Why would they refuse to do so? I condemn child rape and I don't rape children. Why would a mosque refuse to condemn child rape in a sermon? And 75% refuse to do so. So there is a serious issue here. Okay. When you add to that the fact that it is justified within Islamic doctrine.
Okay, now we only have a minute left, so, and we have a slight delay in the interview, so be fairly brief with this. How many girls have been victims of this, and where are they from? Are they Muslim girls? Are they girls from any particular faith or background?
Yes, this is another element. It is almost entirely non-Muslim girls, sometimes Sikh girls, but mainly ethnic white British girls. The numbers, it's difficult to tell. Government has known about this for 20 years, hasn't gathered the statistics. The campaign for the removal of pimping, which is an organisation in the north of England, they estimate that there are around 10,000 victims of this crime. There's big money being made out of this. It is serious crime.
And as always, whenever this has been mentioned in Britain, people might not be aware of this, that the cry has been, this is Islamophobia, this is Islamophobia. And the poor girls who are victims and their devastated families are almost ignored. It's a horrible thing. It's an open wound. And thank goodness, and I know, Mr. Bobby, I know you'll be attacked, that people will try and say, well, you're motivated by hatred or whatever. But the issue here is not you. The issue is what is really going on, and it has to be stopped. Thank you very much for your time. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Michael.